So we've got 2 bags of Miracle Mud, 10 pounds each bag. I want to do about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of Miracle Mud in my refugium area. My refugium area is 24 by 16. And what I've noticed through viewing some of Mike Pauletta's videos is he baffled some of his sumps to keep the Miracle Mud from piling up on one end or another. So I created with acrylic, 1/4 inch acrylic, I cut it into strips, glued it together. I created a little baffle system. I even put some little supports in there to make it rigid. Very easy. Took me maybe a half an hour with some acrylic glue. So I took some acrylic over to the table saw. I think the table saw is one of the better ways to cut it. It leaves a very nice edge on there. And I just cut the acrylic into strips. I didn't want to use the table saw to cut them down even more. I did use my chop saw, which doesn't leave the nicest edge, but since this is just a baffle system for the Miracle Mud, I didn't really care. I mean, although I did sand some of the edges and round them just to make sure it didn't dig into the silicone on the corners of the tank, I didn't spend that much time, cutting up the silicone and sanding the edges. After that, you just peel up the paper. This is the glue I used. Aligned it, took some measurements just to kind of center these baffles, set it up, and then just start gluing it. I probably could have used some clamps or something like that just to hold it in place, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this, and I know the mud's going to pretty much hold it into place. I probably could have put it in there without gluing it, so I felt it was enough. But I did put those corner pieces in there just to give it some more structure, and it really did. It held it together pretty good with those corner pieces. This was really strong. When this solvent dried, it welds that acrylic together. It is very strong. So it did turn out really nice. So the plan is drain that area of the sump, put the baffling system in, put the Miracle Mud in dry, use these bags over the top of it to refill the sump. I know it will be silty. It's probably going to be kind of murky. So that first area from my refugium into my skimmer section, I have a set of weirs with an area for some filter floss. So I've got some very fine filter media that I'm going to put in there to try to collect some of that dust. Black Friday, Marine Depot had a coupon for $20 off this Miracle Mud. So I got it for a good deal. So for the price I paid for 2 of these, I think it's like the normal cost of a piece of coral. Plus, Marine Depot might have forgot my t-shirt on my previous order that they promised me. So they said they would throw it in. So here it is, my Marine Depot t-shirt. Who doesn't love a free t-shirt? Marine Depot. Although they say I only have, 3 people? I like 3 people. Maybe. So let's get started on this. We'll drain the sump, put the baffle in, and put the Miracle Mud in. Let's do it. So we're down here at the sump. First thing is to do, we're going to turn off the return pump, which I haven't mounted this yet because I might change my return pump, so I haven't mounted this controller. But anyway, besides that, drain the water, put it in. Let's do this. So we've drained all the water out of the sump section. We're going to put in our baffle, Miracle Mud, use the bags and refill it. See how this works. So this was the first time I ever bought Miracle Mud, and it's a 10-pound bag. I figured the bags would be really big, but they actually turned out to be smaller than what I expected. But it is mud, so there's a bunch of hard stuff in there, and it weighs down the bag. So I just poured it all in there, is all I did, and I tried to spread it out, flatten it, make sure I didn't have it all pushed up to one side. Although once I turned the pump on later, I did notice that section in the front right, it did kind of blow away from the corner, which is not a big deal. mean...
So here's looking at the Miracle Mud. I mean, it does. It looks like dirt. It has a bunch of crystals in there. It looks like silicate. I mean, there's a lot of different things in the mud, which is kind of interesting. I don't exactly know what is in there, but we'll see how it is. So we're just emptying. I think this is the second or the second bag, because I used 2.5 bags total in the sump of the Miracle Mud. Here I am just kind of pushing it down, and you can see how milky that water is starting to become. I took the bags, I cut the bags up, placed them in the bottom, and I really should have had something holding these bags down, I think. I think that would have helped. And this is just a shot of a bucket of empty water. No, here goes the pump. So I put the pump in, turned it on, right, and then I just start pumping the water on top of the plastic. Yeah, this should have really been held down here. But as you'll see, you'll watch what happens. Sometimes you have the best intentions and they don't always work out the way you expect. So there it goes. Now it's starting to float. I'm like, what the heck? So I try holding it down, but that plastic just, it's too buoyant. It does not want to sit on the bottom. Oops.
So we're in the middle of filling this up. What I've noticed is it's hard to hold the paper down. It's really hard. And okay, so I'm gonna go back to Mike Paletta when he said to rinse it, because there's a lot of stuff just floating on top of the water, little pieces and stuff. So what I'm gonna do, plan B, I'm gonna put a pump in here, run it through. I have a filter sock, just this chamber, just to kind of clean out, especially some of this stuff on the top, because it's gonna catch right away in my filter here. I might as well try to keep that one clean for now. But yeah, it's hard to hold this plastic down. I should have used more weight, but it is, wow, it is really cloudy. And I can almost see like a metallic piece in here. I see the reflection of the light. It gives a sheen. Oops, bucket's done. There's a little more water. So yeah, there is a lot of stuff just floating around in there. I'm gonna run it through a filter sock. It's pretty cloudy. What I have is called a socket from CPR Aquatics, and I bought this about a year ago, and I never used it. And it's kind of cool. I thought I would use it if I ever got a sump, but I needed something to clean it out. So you put your filter sock in here, as such. You drop your tube in. You could run a line in there, and this goes here. Clips over the side. Boom, you've got a filter sock. Yeah, honestly, I would, if I did this again, I would at least pre-wash it. At least a little bit, run it through, pre-wash it, because there is a lot of funk just floating on the water that I know is not going to settle. Yeah. Wow. Holy cow.
So this is the filter sock the next day. There's a lot of sediment in there, but what's also in there is a lot of like wood particles and stuff that was floating on top of the water. You could see it in there. It is like little pieces of wood. That would have never settled out of the Miracle Mud, right? So I could see why some people say to rinse it first, because that stuff's not going to settle. You really need to get it out of the system. So here it is the next night. It's cleared up. The chamber has cleared up. You could see it's all compact down there now. That front corner blew away because of the return pump, but the baffles I thought worked pretty good, kept it compartmentalized. The filter floss, this was a couple days later, I pulled this out. Look how funky that is. Again, I got some of that floating stuff on there, and there is some sediment and other stuff in there. So this is when I put the Chaeto in there. This was like the beginning of January, and the hair algae started kicking in. This was about a month after I put the Miracle Mud in there. You could see that Chaeto, it got kind of strung out from the return pump. But it's nice, it's a bright green. I was hoping it would outcompete the green hair algae, but that didn't happen. And now, you know, the refugium, I have scraped it a couple times, but it's a mixture between hair algae and the Chaeto. There is also some dragon's breath I threw in there. So this is the light I'm using. This is a 5000K COB, which is cluster on board. It's just a cluster of LEDs. Fog lamp I bought from Amazon. It was like $8. It's 20 watts. I just set it on top, and it works pretty good. I mean, the Chaeto has filled up that chamber by now. We're in the middle of March, and this was January. It is packed now. But I do have the green hair algae also. You can see it growing there. It grew pretty thick. And I did throw some snails in there. I threw some Trocus snails in there, hoping I could try to knock it down a little bit, but it didn't do it so much. This poor guy wound up dying. Probably was disgusted by all the green hair algae and figured, you know, enough with this, I'm dead. But I do like the Trocus snails. I don't know if green hair algae is appetizing for them or not, but they seem to really do a good job. So you can see, so now we're 2 weeks past when I put the Chaeto in there. I put a little clump on a piece of rock just to try to see if I could grow it in the middle there. And that green hair algae is just going crazy. It's thick, like 3/4 of an inch long. But the Chaeto just started growing. Here's another week. Look how much more it's grown. And then another couple weeks. So it's really picked up. Now that it's packed, the refugium is just packed with Chaeto. So thanks for sticking with me through this long update of this Miracle Mud. I've been meaning to get it out. Finally got it out. So look forward to more updates. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Let's get her done. That's not, no, get her done. No, get her done.